Unprovoked attack. The sun was just peeking over Earth's curved horizon, painting the planet's edge with a soft golden glow. Zara Singh, an 18-year-old astrophysics prodigy, pressed her face against the small window of the space shuttle. Her dark eyes sparkled with excitement as she took in the breathtaking view. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined," Zara whispered, her voice filled with awe. Captain Maria Rodriguez chuckled from the pilot's seat. "First time in space is always special, kid. But don't forget why we're here. We've got work to do." Zara nodded, forcing herself to focus. This wasn't just a joyride. She was part of a small team sent to perform maintenance on a new orbital telescope. It was a huge honor, especially for someone so young. Zara had worked hard for this chance, spending countless nights studying and practicing until her eyes burned and her hands shook. As Zara turned back to her console, a red light began flashing urgently. "Captain," Zara called out, her brow furrowed in confusion. "I'm picking up a strange energy reading. It's massive." Before Captain Rodriguez could respond, a blinding flash lit up the cockpit. When the light faded, Zora's jaw dropped. An enormous ship had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. It was unlike anything humans had ever built, all sharp angles and strange, pulsing lights. "What the hell is that?" the captain muttered, her experienced hands already moving across the controls. Zara's mind raced. The ship's design, its sudden appearance. There was only one explanation, however impossible it seemed. "Aliens," she breathed. "It has to be." For a moment, everything was still. The massive alien ship hung motionless against the starry backdrop. Zara felt a mix of fear and excitement coursing through her veins. This was it. Humanity's first contact with an alien race. It was everything she had dreamed of since she was a little girl staring up at the night sky. Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled over the radio, broadcasting to Earth. "Mission Control, are you seeing this? We have a possible first contact situation. Repeat, possible first contact. Requesting immediate instructions." The response was immediate, tension clear in the controller's voice. "We see it. Shuttle Andromeda. Stand by for." The transmission cut off abruptly as a beam of searing energy lanced out from the alien ship. It struck the shuttle with pinpoint accuracy. Alarms blared as systems began to fail. "We're hit," Captain Rodriguez shouted, fighting with the controls. "Zara, send out a distress signal. Now." Zara's fingers flew across her console, but it was too late. Another blast from the alien ship tore through the shuttle's hull. The last thing Zara saw was a blinding flash of light and the terrified faces of her crewmates. Then, darkness. Back on Earth, millions watched in horror as the attack unfolded on live television. What should have been a routine mission, barely newsworthy, had turned into a nightmare broadcast around the globe. In a small apartment in New Delhi, Zora's parents clung to each other, tears streaming down their faces as they watched their daughter's shuttle explode in a ball of fire. In New York, a class of elementary school students who had been watching the mission as part of a science lesson sat in stunned silence, their young minds struggling to process the violence they had just witnessed. And in a hidden bunker deep beneath the Pentagon, a group of grim-faced military leaders watched the attack with a mix of shock and grim determination. "It's happening," General Sarah Chen said, her voice barely above a whisper. "After all these years, it's finally happening." She turned to her aide. "Initiate Protocol Omega. And God help us all." As the aide rushed to carry out the order, General Chen turned back to the screen. The alien ship was still there, hanging ominously in Earth's orbit. She knew that in the coming hours, the world would erupt into chaos. There would be panic, confusion, and demands for answers that no one was prepared to give. But deep in secure facilities around the world, ancient systems were beginning to whir to life. Dormant for centuries, they had waited for this moment, the moment when humanity would face its greatest threat. In the forests of Siberia, hidden bunkers began to open. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, lights flickered on in a secret base that had never seen the sun. And in the crater of a long-dead volcano in Hawaii, a massive hangar door began to slide open for the first time. In 300 years, humanity had been caught off guard, but they were far from defenseless. The death of one brave young woman had set in motion events that would change the course of human history forever. As governments around the world scrambled to respond to the crisis, a select few individuals received coded messages on secure channels. Veterans who thought their fighting days were long behind them reached for uniforms that still fit perfectly. Young geniuses in fields ranging from computer science to xenobiology found themselves whisked away to secret facilities. In orbit, the alien ship remained motionless, perhaps believing their show of force had cowed humanity into submission. They couldn't have been more wrong. Hours after the attack, as the world still reeled in shock, a second transmission interrupted all global broadcasts. The face that appeared on screens worldwide was that of a stern-looking woman in a crisp military uniform. "Citizens of Earth," she began, her voice steady and determined. "Today, we have suffered an unprovoked attack. An innocent life has been lost. A brilliant young woman named Zara Singh, whose only crime was daring to reach for the stars." The woman's eyes hardened. "To the aliens who committed this atrocity, know this: you have awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity will not cower. We will not submit, and we are far more prepared for this day than you could possibly imagine." As she spoke, the first wave of Earth's hidden fleet began to rise from their secret bases around the world. Ships of designs never before seen by the public eye took to the skies, their advanced technology a match for anything the aliens could bring to bear. The woman on the screen allowed herself a small, grim smile. "To the people of Earth, I say this: take heart. We have planned for this day for centuries. The road ahead will be difficult, but make no mistake, we will prevail." As the transmission ended, the alien ship in orbit suddenly found itself surrounded by a swarm of Earth vessels, their weapons primed and ready. The message was clear: humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would fight. And in the memory of Zara Singh and countless others who had dreamed of the stars, they would win. The greatest war in human history was about to begin. Earth's hidden legacy. The United Nations building in New York City was in chaos. Security personnel rushed through the corridors, their faces grim. World leaders, many still in their pajamas, were escorted into the main assembly hall. The attack had happened just hours ago, and the world was holding its breath, waiting for a response. Secretary General Amina Okafor strode to the podium, her usually immaculate appearance slightly disheveled. Dark circles under her eyes betrayed her lack of sleep, but her gaze was sharp and determined. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice echoing through the packed hall, "we face the greatest crisis in human history. An alien force has attacked Earth, killing one of our own without provocation." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. On the main screen behind Amina, images of the destroyed shuttle and Zara Singh's smiling face flashed by. "But," Amina continued, raising her voice, "we are not as defenseless as our enemies believe. It's time to reveal a secret that has been kept for centuries." She took a deep breath, knowing her next words would change the world forever. In the year 1835, leaders from around the world met in secret. They had received a warning, a message from the future, telling of this very day. These visionaries decided to prepare humanity for the coming storm. Gasps and exclamations filled the room. Amina raised a hand for silence. Over the next 2 centuries, the greatest minds of each generation worked in secret, developing technologies beyond our wildest dreams. A hidden fleet was built, weapons were created, and a plan was put in place. All of this was done under the guidance of an organization known as the Sentinel Protocol. As Amina spoke, screens around the world lit up with images of massive underground hangars, advanced spaceships, and weapons that looked like they belonged in science fiction movies. In a small town in Kansas, an old farmer named Bill Johnson watched the broadcast. a knowing smile on his weathered face. He turned to his wife of 50 years and said, "Well, Martha, looks like it's time." He stood up, bones creaking, and walked to the barn. Inside, hidden under a pile of hay, was a high-tech communication device he hadn't touched in decades. Back at the UN, Amina was still speaking. The Sentinel Protocol was designed to activate only in the event of an existential threat to humanity. The death of Zara Singh at the hands of alien aggressors has triggered this protocol. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. As we speak, hidden bases around the world are awakening. Retired veterans are being called back to duty, and a new generation of defenders is being recruited. In a college dorm room in Tokyo, a young hacker named Hiroshi Tanaka stared at his computer screen in disbelief. The government firewalls he'd been trying to crack for years had suddenly disappeared, replaced by a simple message: "Your skills are needed. Will you answer the call?" Hiroshi's fingers hovered over the keyboard for just a moment before he typed his response. Yes. Similar scenes played out around the world. In a high-security prison in Russia, a master strategist serving a life sentence for her unparalleled cyber attacks was released, her skills deemed too valuable to waste. In the Amazon rainforest, a team of botanists researching rare plants was extracted by a stealth helicopter, their knowledge of alien ecosystems suddenly crucial. As the world reeled from these revelations, the Sentinel Protocol continued its work. Deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, a massive door groaned open for the first time in a century. Inside, row upon row of sleek fighters waited, their designs unlike anything seen on Earth. In orbit, hidden satellites shed their disguises, revealing powerful weapon systems that had been hiding in plain sight for decades. And in the Mariana Trench, at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, lights flickered on in a city-sized base that housed the heart of Earth's defense system, a quantum supercomputer that had been silently watching and learning for generations. Back at the UN, Amina was wrapping up her speech. "We have been preparing for this moment for almost 200 years. The road ahead will be difficult, but we are not starting from zero. We have technology that can match our enemies. We have plans within plans. And most importantly, we have the indomitable spirit of humanity." She leaned forward, her eyes blazing with determination. "To the aliens who think they can simply sweep us aside, I say this: you have no idea what you've awakened. Humanity will not just survive this war. We will win it." As Amina stepped back from the podium, the assembly hall erupted into cheers and applause. For the first time since the attack, hope began to spread. In orbit, the alien ship that had seemed so menacing just hours ago now found itself surrounded by a swarm of Earth vessels that had appeared out of nowhere. Their weapons were primed, their crews ready. On the bridge of the Earth flagship, Admiral Jane Chen looked out at the alien ship, a grim smile on her face. She turned to her crew, a mix of grizzled veterans and wide-eyed recruits. "Well, ladies and gentlemen," she said, "we've been preparing for this day for a long time. Let's show these aliens why you don't mess with Earth." As the Earth fleet moved into position, a message was broadcast to the alien ship in every known language and mathematical code. "You have committed an act of war against the people of Earth. You killed one of our own, Zara Singh, a bright young woman whose only crime was to reach for the stars. We gave you a chance to explain yourselves. You chose silence. Now you face the consequences. Surrender immediately, or face the full might of humanity's wrath." There was a moment of tense silence. Then, to everyone's surprise, a response came from the alien ship. It was a single word, transmitted in perfect English: "Never." Admiral Chen's smile grew wider. "Well, folks," she said, "they've made their choice. Let's make them regret it." With that, the greatest battle in Earth's history began. Humanity, hidden strength now unleashed, was ready to fight for its future among the stars. The awakening of Earth's armada. The world held its breath as Earth's hidden fleet faced off against the alien warship. But this was just the beginning. All across the planet, long-dormant facilities were springing to life, ready to join the fight. In the heart of the Sahara Desert, the sand began to shift. A massive metal door, camouflaged to look like a sand dune, slowly opened. From within, a fleet of sleek, sand-colored ships emerged. Their hulls were designed to withstand the harshest sandstorms, making them perfect for the dusty atmospheres of alien worlds. Captain Aisha Mbeki, a veteran pilot who had been in cryosleep for the past 50 years, blinked away the last traces of ice from her eyelashes. She looked around at her crew, a mix of fellow veterans and young recruits. "All right, people," she said, her voice rough from disuse. "We've slept long enough. Time to show these aliens what Africa's got up its sleeve." Half a world away, in the icy wastes of Siberia, another base was awakening. Here, massive mechs, walking tanks the size of buildings, were powering up. Their pilots, chosen for their ability to withstand extreme cold, were already suited up. Sergeant Ivan Petrov, a burly man with a thick beard, patted the leg of his mech affectionately. "Wake up, old friend," he muttered. "We have a planet to defend." Meanwhile, in the depths of the Mariana Trench, a different kind of awakening was taking place. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant marine biologist, watched in awe as bioluminescent creatures she had never seen before began to glow. These were not natural sea creatures, but bioengineered organisms designed to bond with submarines, creating living ships capable of adapting to any aquatic environment. "Incredible," Yuki whispered as a giant, squid-like creature wrapped itself around a waiting submarine. The resulting hybrid looked like something out of a fever dream, part machine, part living organism, and all deadly. While these hidden bases activated, a different kind of recruitment was happening in cities around the world. In New York, a street artist named Miguel was painting a mural when his spray paint can suddenly projected a hologram. "Miguel Sanchez," a voice said, "your artistic skills and spatial awareness make you an ideal candidate for our holographic camouflage division. Will you join us?" Miguel looked at the unfinished mural, then back at the hologram. With a grin, he said, "Let's make some real art." In Tokyo, a group of gamers were in the middle of an esports tournament when their screens went dark. When they lit up again, a message appeared. "Your reflexes and teamwork are needed. This is not a game. Earth needs you." The team captain, a young woman named Hannah, stood up. "Well, team," she said with a smirk, "looks like we've got a new final boss to beat." As these recruitments happened, Earth's orbital defenses continued to expand. Hidden satellites transformed, revealing weapons and shields. Space stations that had posed as research facilities shed their disguises, becoming fortresses in the sky. On the International Space Station, Commander Lai Wei watched in amazement as panels he had never noticed before opened up, revealing advanced weapon systems. "I've lived on this station for years," he said to his equally stunned crew. "How did we never notice this?" A hologram appeared in the center of the station. It was the face of an AI, its features a blend of all human races. "Hello, Commander," it said. "I am GAIA, Earth's Defense A. I've been here all along, hidden in plain sight. It's time for me to wake up fully and coordinate our defenses." Back on Earth, in a small town in Brazil, an old woman named Maria watched the sky change. She had been a cleaner at a nearby research facility for decades, always suspecting there was more going on than met the eye. Now she watched as the facility's roof opened up, revealing a massive cannon that aimed itself at the stars. Maria smiled to herself. "I knew it," she said, picking up a broom. "Well, someone's got to keep the place clean while they save the world." In orbit, Admiral Chen's fleet continued to face off against the alien warship. But now reinforcements were arriving from every corner of the Earth. Ships of all shapes and sizes, each designed for a specific purpose, took up formation around the flagship. Chen's communication officer turned to her, eyes wide. "Admiral, you need to see this." On the main screen, a map of Earth appeared. Dots of light, representing awakened bases and launched ships, were appearing all over the globe. It looked like the planet itself was coming alive with light. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Now that," she said, "is a beautiful sight." She opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen to all Earth Defense Forces. For centuries, we have prepared for this day. We have trained, we have planned, and we have waited. Now, the waiting is over. Today, we fight not just for our lives, but for our right to exist among the stars." She paused, looking out at the alien ship that suddenly seemed much less intimidating. "To our enemy, and to any other aliens who might be watching, know this. We are humanity. We are diverse. We are creative. And we are determined. You may have started this war, but we will finish it." As if in response to her words, a new ship appeared next to the alien vessel. It was massive, easily dwarfing both the alien ship and Earth's fleet. Its hull bore the marks of countless battles, and its design was unlike anything Earth had produced. A transmission came through, and a face appeared on screen. Humanoid, but clearly alien. "Greetings, Earth," the alien said. "I am Commander Zox of the Galactic Alliance. We received your distress call. It seems you have some troublemakers in your system. Need a hand?" Admiral Chen's smile grew wider. "Commander Zox," she said, "your timing is impeccable. Let's show these aggressors what happens when they pick a fight in the wrong part of the galaxy." As Earth's fleet moved into attack position, joined by their new alien allies, one thing became clear. The real battle was just beginning. But now, with their hidden strength awakened and unexpected allies at their side, humanity was ready to fight for its place among the stars. The counterattack. The vastness of space was shattered by explosions of light and color as Earth's fleet, alongside their new Galactic Alliance allies, engaged the enemy aliens. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the comms. "All ships, engage at will. Show them what humanity is made of." The battle erupted in a dazzling display of advanced technology and tactical prowess. Earth's ships, despite being newly awakened, moved with surprising grace and coordination. This was the moment they were built for, and they didn't disappoint. On the bridge of her flagship, Admiral Chen watched the battle unfold. Her eyes darted between holographic displays, taking in every detail of the fight. Beside her stood Commander Zox, the alien ally, his four eyes blinking in rapid succession as he observed Earth's forces in action. "Impressive," Zox murmured. "Your species has hidden depths." "Admiral." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "You have no idea, Commander." In the thick of the battle, Captain Aisha Mbiki's sand-colored ships darted between enemy vessels. Their unique design, inspired by the shifting sands of the Sahara, made them nearly impossible to track. One moment they were there, the next, they seemed to dissolve into the starry background. "Sand Squad, form up," Aisha called out. "Let's show them our Dust Devil maneuver." Her ships fell into formation, spinning rapidly. The friction of their specially designed hulls created a massive, swirling cloud of microscopic particles. As they charged through an enemy formation, the cloud shredded the alien ship's sensors and weapons. Meanwhile, Sergeant Ivan Petrov's Siberian mechs had been deployed to the surface of a nearby moon, where enemy forces had established a base. The massive walking tanks moved with surprising agility in the low gravity. Ivan's voice boomed over the comms, thick with his Russian accent. "Remember, comrades, in Soviet Russia, moon walks on you." His joke was met with groans and chuckles from his team, but their laughter quickly turned to cheers as Ivan's mech picked up an enemy tank and used it as a club to smash through the alien defenses. Back in Earth's orbit, Dr. Yuki Tanaka's bioengineered sea creatures were proving their worth. The living submarines, now adapted for space, moved in ways that defied normal physics. They wrapped their tentacles around enemy ships, crushing them or using them as shields against incoming fire. Yuki's voice was filled with wonder as she directed her creations. "Look at them go. They're even more amazing than I imagined. In the digital realm, the battle was just as fierce. Gaia, Earth's defense AI, was locked in cyber combat with the enemy systems, but she wasn't alone. The team of gamers recruited from Tokyo, led by Hana, were proving to be natural cyber warriors. Hana's fingers flew over her holographic interface, just like raiding the final boss team. Coordinate your attacks. Now. Their combined assault broke through the enemy's firewalls, causing entire squadrons of alien ships to suddenly go dark, drifting helplessly in space. The street artist Miguel was also making his mark on the battle. His holographic camouflage skills were put to use, creating massive illusions in space. Enemy ships found themselves firing at targets that didn't exist, while real Earth vessels struck from unexpected angles. Now this, Miguel said with a grin, is what I call interactive art. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Earth's forces, despite being outnumbered, had several key advantages. Their ships and weapons were more diverse, adapted to a wide range of environments and situations, and more importantly, the human crews showed an incredible ability to think creatively and adapt on the fly. Admiral Chen noticed this too. GAIA. She called out, "Analyze the enemy's tactics. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" The AI's calm voice responded, "Affirmative, Admiral. The enemy forces show signs of rigid, pre-programmed battle strategies. They are struggling to adapt to our unpredictable maneuvers." Chen nodded. "Exactly. Broadcast to all Earth forces. Use your imagination. Do the unexpected. That's our greatest weapon." The response was immediate and spectacular. Earth's ships began executing maneuvers that looked more like dance choreography than battle tactics. Mechs used debris as improvised weapons. Holographic illusions became more and more elaborate, confusing and disorienting the enemy. In one stunning move, a group of bioengineered space squids formed a giant net, capturing an entire enemy squadron. In another, the sand ships created a swirling vortex of particles that acted like a massive space tornado, pulling enemy ships into its destructive center. Commander Zox watched all this with growing amazement. "In all my years," he said to Chen, "I've never seen anything like this. Your people fight with joy." Chen nodded. "We're fighting for our right to exist, Commander. But more than that, we're fighting for our right to be ourselves among the stars. Creative, unpredictable, diverse. That's who we are." As the tide of battle decisively turned in Earth's favor, the enemy flagship suddenly began to power up what looked like a massive weapon. Energy readings went off the charts. "They're desperate," GAIA announced. "This weapon could destroy half our fleet, and possibly the moon as well." For a moment, fear rippled through Earth's forces. But then, a calm voice came over the comms. It was Maria, the old cleaner from Brazil. "Don't you worry," she said, her voice filled with grandmotherly warmth. "I didn't spend 50 years polishing this cannon for nothing." With that, the research facility in Brazil revealed its true purpose. The massive cannon, hidden for centuries, fired a shot that streaked across space in a blinding flash of light. It struck the enemy flagship with pinpoint accuracy, just as the alien weapon was powering up. The resulting explosion was spectacular, lighting up Earth's sky like a second sun. As the light faded, the remaining enemy ships began to power down, signaling their surrender. A cheer went up across all channels. Earth had won. Admiral Chen allowed herself to relax for the first time since the battle began. She turned to Commander Zox, who was looking at her with newfound respect. "Well, Commander," she said with a smile, "welcome to Earth. We may be new to the galactic stage, but I think you'll find we're fast learners." Zox nodded solemnly. "Indeed, Admiral. I think the galaxy is in for quite a surprise." As the Earth fleet began the process of securing their victory and dealing with the surrendered enemy, one thing was clear: humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had emerged stronger, united, and ready to take its place among the stars. The legacy of Zara Singh, the young woman whose death had triggered this awakening, would not be forgotten. Her name would be remembered not as a victim, but as the spark that ignited humanity's incredible journey into the cosmic community. Humanity's triumph and new galactic order. The days following Earth's victory were a whirlwind of activity. As the dust of battle settled, humanity found itself thrust onto the galactic stage, facing a future filled with both incredible opportunities and daunting challenges. In the orbit of Mars, a massive space station was quickly constructed to serve as a neutral meeting ground between Earth and the various alien races. Its design was a testament to humanity's creativity. A blend of technology from Earth's hidden fleet, biological components from Dr. Yuki Tanaka's creations, and holographic interfaces designed by Miguel, the street artist turned space architect. It was here, in a grand chamber with a breathtaking view of the red planet below, that Earth's representatives gathered to meet with the Galactic Alliance for the first time. Admiral Chen stood at the forefront, flanked by a diverse group that represented the best of humanity. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her lab coat adorned with bioluminescent patches, chatted excitedly with a tentacled alien about the potential for combining their biotechnologies. Sergeant Ivan Petrov, looking somewhat uncomfortable out of his mech suit, was arm wrestling with a four-armed alien to the amusement of onlookers. As the meeting was called to order, a hologram of GAIA appeared in the center of the room. The AI's face was serene as it began to speak. Honored representatives of the Galactic Alliance, GAIA said, its voice resonating through the chamber. On behalf of humanity, we welcome you. We come here not as conquerors, but as equals, ready to take our place among the stars. Commander Zoc stepped forward, his four eyes blinking in sequence. The Galactic Alliance acknowledges Earth and its people, he said. Your victory against the Kek Armada was unprecedented. Many among us are curious about the secrets Earth has been hiding. Admiral Chen smiled diplomatically. Earth's greatest secret, Commander, is its people. Our diversity, our creativity, our ability to unite in the face of adversity. These are our true strengths. As if to demonstrate this point, Hana, the gamer-turned-cyber warrior, suddenly projected a complex 3D model of Earth's defense systems. We're open to sharing our technology, she said, her fingers dancing through the hologram. But more importantly, we want to share ideas. Imagine what we could create together. The aliens murmured in excitement, many moving closer to examine the hologram. A peaceful exchange of knowledge and technology had begun. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the impact of recent events was transforming society. The revelation of the centuries-old Sentinel Protocol had initially caused shock and some anger, but as the truth spread, a new sense of unity began to emerge. In a small village in India, Zara Singh's parents stood before a newly erected memorial. It was a beautiful holographic statue of Zara, her image shifting to show her at different ages, from a curious child to the brave young woman she had become. At the base, an eternal flame burned, symbolizing the spark she had ignited in humanity's spirit. Zara's mother, tears in her eyes, placed a wreath at the base of the statue. Our daughter dreamed of the stars, she said to the gathered crowd. Now, her dream lived on in all of us. The ceremony was being broadcast globally, and as Zara's father began to speak, people around the world fell silent to listen. Zara's death was a tragedy, he said, his voice strong despite his grief. But from that tragedy, humanity has found its place in the universe. Let her memory inspire us to be curious, to be brave, and to always reach for the stars. As he spoke, ships from Earth's now revealed fleet performed a flyover, their formations spelling out Zora's name in the sky. In the following months, Earth underwent rapid changes. The technology hidden for centuries was now being adapted for everyday use. Cars that could transform into flight-capable vehicles became common. Holographic communications replaced smartphones. Biologically enhanced plants helped to rapidly reverse climate change. But it wasn't just Earth that was changing. Humanity's influence began to spread throughout the galaxy. Earth cuisine became a sensation in alien cultures, with restaurants serving sushi, pizza, and curry popping up on distant planets. Human music and art, with their vast diversity of styles, fascinated alien species. Earth's education system, too, gained galactic renown. The combination of GAI's vast knowledge and humanity's creative teaching methods made Earth's universities the most sought after in the galaxy. It became common to see alien students walking alongside humans in campuses around the world. 1 year after the battle that had changed everything, a special ceremony was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The building had been renovated, its classic architecture now blended seamlessly with advanced alien technology. Secretary General Amina Okafor stood at the podium, addressing not just the delegates in the room, but billions of humans and aliens watching across the galaxy. 1 year ago, she began, we faced extinction. Today, we stand as a leading member of the galactic community. This is not just humanity's triumph, but a victory for diversity, creativity, and the indomitable spirit of life itself. She paused, looking around the room. Alongside human delegates sat representatives from dozens of alien races. In the back, the engineering team that had modified the UN building for alien attendees beamed with pride. Their leader, a young woman fresh out of university, gave a thumbs up. We have made great strides. Amina continued, but our journey is just beginning. Today, we announced the formation of the Intergalactic Peace Corps. This organization, inspired by the legacy of Zara Singh, will work to promote understanding between all sentient species. The announcement was met with thunderous applause. As the cheering died down, Amina raised her hand for silence. And there's more, she said, a twinkle in her eye. We are also launching the Zara Singh Interstellar Academy. This school will train the next generation of explorers, diplomats, and innovators from all corners of the galaxy. The applause this time was deafening. In orbit, Earth's fleet and ships from allied alien races performed an intricate dance against the backdrop of space, their movements choreographed by none other than Miguel, whose art had evolved to a cosmic scale. As the celebration continued, Admiral Chen stood quietly at the back of the room. Commander Zox approached her, a datapad in his hands. Admiral, he said, his tone serious. Our long-range scouts have detected something concerning. A massive fleet, like nothing we've ever seen, approaching from outside the galaxy. Chen nodded, her expression determined. Well, Commander, she said, it looks like humanity's next challenge is already on the horizon. But whatever comes, we'll face it together, as part of the galactic community. As they turned to inform the Secretary General, both knew that while one chapter of humanity's story had come to a triumphant end, an even greater adventure was just beginning. The stars, with all their wonders and dangers, were waiting, and humanity was ready to meet them head-on.